That's one of my fears right there. Whenever they ask me to clap. My family will tell you that I am notorious for clapping on the offbeat. Everybody else is doing this, and I'm somehow in between, and I don't know how I get there. But fear. We've all experienced it. It is a common human emotion. And I don't know about you, but I'm feeling a good share of it this morning. It's not easy for me to get up and speak in front of a lot of people. My wife is the extrovert in the family. She loves to be out there, and the more people, the more excited she gets. Me, I like my books real well. So it's not always easy. But I would imagine that there's a little bit of fear out there. I'm not going to ask you what it is, but is anybody out there feeling a little bit of fear this morning? Who's on staff parish? They hired me, and it doesn't go well. We all have our fears. We all have our fears. I have been listening to your stories. I've been reading your emails, and I've heard the concerns, I've heard the worries, I've heard the fears. Our church seems to be shrinking. You're not alone. The mainline denominations across the board seem to be doing the same thing. I've heard your fear and your concern and your worry about the children aren't coming, the youth aren't coming, the young adults aren't coming. What can we do? How can we get them here? I've heard those worries. And again, you're not alone. You're not alone. I've also heard, and this one I think is a little premature. I've heard the concern and the worry that me, my family, my son, we won't stay here very long, that somehow we're just passing through. I've heard that time and again. And I wonder if you really are putting the cart before the horse a little bit, because if I were you, and if I were sitting out there, I'd at least want to hear this guy preach at least once before I wanted him to stand. Can he put two sentences together that make sense? Come on. And I'm sure there are other fears and worries and concerns that you have. You shared a number of them in our joys and concerns a little bit ago. I have mine. Beyond just the natural fear of standing up in front of a group of people and speaking. But there are lots of concerns and worries going through my mind. Will you like me? Will you accept my preaching style? Will you accept my family? Will my kids get along well at the school? Will my wife be happy here? All of these concerns and things are going through my mind, and as I stand up here, I can't help but be a little bit divided. My mom didn't help matters much either. God bless her. She is a wonderful person, but she was not very happy about us moving to Junction City. Well, you have to understand, we were in Taiwan for 16, 17 years. And when we came back to the States, they put me in a church just 30 minutes from where she lives. So she had a chance, an opportunity for the last 4 years to get to know my kids and my wife and go to their ball games and attend their school activities and all of that. And even though my mother is notorious for never checking Google and never getting on the internet, always forgetting about it, what was the first thing she did when she found out we were moving to Junction City? She got on Google. There ought to be a rule against it. She got on Google and she found out that your previous pastor was a doctor. She comes up to me and says, "Do you know that the current pastor's a doctor?" I said, "Yes, Mom, I've met him. I know he has his PhD. He's a doctor." And I'm like, "Yes, but I have a master's Juris Doctor. I went to law school. I passed the bar exam. I've lived overseas. I speak Chinese. You know, I do have some credentialing. Yeah, but he's a doctor. Thanks, Mom. You're really helping. Your laughter is another concern of mine. I'm from Southwest Nebraska. Maybe my sense of humor is not as well refined as your sense of humor here in Junction City. I have good reason to be concerned. I lived in Taiwan for 16, 17 years. I never understood the humor in Taiwan. You can ask my wife. I just never got it. First of all, in Taiwan, I just wasn't smart enough to get it. In Taiwan, when you tell a joke, you have to tell everyone, I'm going to tell a joke now. I'm like, what's the point in telling a joke? You tell everybody. I finally asked my friends, my Taiwan friends, why do you do that? Why do you tell everybody you're going to tell a joke before you tell it? They said, well, that's a face-saving mechanism. That way everybody knows you're telling a joke. And even if they don't think it's funny, they still laugh when you're done. It's a way to say face. They're like, oh, okay, well, that sort of makes sense. But the second part of it was what really got me. I could speak Mandarin. So I can get along in conversational Chinese, Mandarin Chinese. But in order to understand most of the jokes in Taiwan, you need to understand at least one more dialect, and usually two. Because their jokes revolve around the intonation of words. So a word means one thing in Mandarin, but it means something else in another dialect. So you have to understand both dialects in order to understand the joke. And it's just like, I don't get it. For 16, 17 years, I didn't understand the jokes. I just wasn't smart enough to get it. And now we're here in Junction City. And we're beginning a new journey, some new traveling, a new path, a new road, together with you. And it can be scary. I'm sure there's some fear out there, not just with Staff Parish. But maybe, just maybe, Abram has something to say to us. The story that we read today, that Ben was so good to read from us, that was up on the screen. Think about poor Abram. Put yourself in his shoes. How many of you are 75 or above? Some people aren't going to tell me. I'm 50. I'm not sure if God had come to me and told me what he told Abram, that I would have been so eager to listen. God went to Abram at 75 and said, I want you to get up, I want you to leave your nation, I want you to leave your country, your father's house, everything that you've ever known, and I want you to go to a place that I will tell you. God wasn't even telling him where he was going. He just said, go somewhere, and I'll tell you later. He was 75. Would you do that? I don't think I would. I'm going to be 50 this year. It had to be scary. It had to be terrifying. We're talking about thousands of years ago. Who knows what you're going to meet on the highways and byways? The bandits, the people that wanted to rob you and steal from you and take your life and everything that you possess. Your wife. Now, Abram was married, but he didn't have any children. But God made him a promise. He said, go. And if you go as I tell you, you will be blessed. Those who bless you, I will bless. Those who curse you, I will curse. And all the nations will be blessed because of you. I'll make of you a great nation. And he was like, I don't have any kids. But what did Abram do? He went. He went. Despite it didn't make any sense. I'm going to make a great nation. I'm 75, I don't have any kids. How am I going to be a great nation? He still believed. He still trusted, and he put his shoes on, and he got his wife together, and what possessions he had, and he hit the road. And away he went. Because God's promises were enough. And you know what? They're enough for us too. God's promises are enough for us as well. God has somehow, for whatever reason, put us together on his path. Put us together. We don't know where it's going to end. We don't know when it's going to end. Just like Abram had no idea either. All we know is God is saying, go. Go together. Go do this. And trust in me. Have faith. Have trust in me. And you know what? God also gave us a promise. Remember the words of Jesus Christ in Matthew chapter 28. Lo, I am with you always, even unto the end of the age. I am with you always. I will never leave you. God has promised that he will always be with us, never leave us. All he asks is that we trust in him and believe in him. And when we do start out on that journey, we will come closer to fulfilling the mission of this church. Do you remember what your mission is? What's the mission of this church? I see people cheating. They're looking at the wall. What is the mission of this church?
To love God with all our hearts, to love all others, and to spread the goodness of Jesus Christ.
When we trust in him, when we trust in God, when we have faith in him and believe his promises, we love him. We love God. When we do so, we love others, just as we love ourselves. And we will spread the good news of Jesus Christ. When we trust in him, have faith in him, and take the steps forward in the journey that God is calling us to take. I'm willing to take the journey with you. Will you come with me? Will you come? Have one? Come on the journey. We will be a blessing. God will bless us, and God will bless the journey that we take. Come with us, and let's see where God takes us. Amen.